Welcome to this explainer. You know that feeling when you're reading a dense article and bam, you hit a massive, complex word that just leaves you totally lost? Well, today, we're fixing that. We are decoding an absolute master key of the English language, the Latin root locus. We're going to break down how understanding just this one structural root literally unlocks a massive web of advanced vocabulary. It's like having a cheat code for complex terminology.
So here's our game plan for today. We'll start off by learning to think like a champion, tackle some word detective challenges, jump into the challenge round, explore some real-world root power, and wrap it all up with a root mastery review.
All right, let's dive right into Section 1, Think Like a Champion, and get that winning mindset locked in.
You see, mastering advanced vocabulary, it's not about memorizing flashcards until your eyes cross. It's all about pattern recognition. So here is your golden rule for this entire explainer. Whenever you spot the Latin root locus, or even just its short and sneaky form LOC, I want you to immediately ask yourself, okay, how does this connect to a place or a position? Because this ancient little building block, it is an absolute master key for rapidly expanding your comprehension.
Professional linguists use a pretty foolproof framework to decode words they've never seen before, and you can totally steal it. First up, find the root. Second, predict the core meaning based entirely on that root. Third, predict the spelling. If it sounds like lock, just keep that LOC right where it is. Fourth, try to learn words in families instead of just random disconnected lists. And finally, pay attention to those repeating suffixes at the end that change how the word is actually used.
Let's put this into practice. Take a word like relocation. Instead of trying to swallow it whole, chop it up into bite-sized pieces. Re, loc, and ation. Boom! The core idea of place is sitting right there in the middle. On the left, re means again, and on the right, ation tells us it's the act of doing something. Put it together, and the act of placing again makes total sense. You aren't just memorizing anymore. You are literally translating on the fly.
Okay, moving on to Section 2, Word Detective Challenges. Let's flex those prediction skills with some interactive drills.
When you stumble across an unknown word, treat it like a puzzle. Here's our first challenge. Let's break it down into re, loc, ate, and able. Think about those pieces for a second. We know re gives us again, and loc is our VIP root for place. So what happens when we slap on the functional endings ate and able? If you piece that together, you get relocable, meaning capable of being placed somewhere else. It's a super functional word built out of perfectly logical little blocks. See? By just recognizing the root, you completely bypass the dictionary and nailed the core concept. All right, let's bump up the difficulty just a bit. What do you predict happens when you mash up the prefix co, the root lock, and the suffix ater? Really focus on that prefix co. What does co add to our whole idea of place? Well, since co means together, a co-locator is literally someone or something placed together with another. You actually hear this precise term all the time in the tech industry. Companies use co-location facilities to physically place all their massive servers together in one shared, super secure data center. Now we are stepping into Section 3, the challenge round. This is where we bring out the heavyweight vocabulary. What's genuinely amazing here is how the lock root completely anchors vocabulary across every single difficulty tier. It seriously doesn't care how intimidating the word looks. You got your basic everyday terms like location. You step up to intermediate actions like allocate. And then you reach those huge expert-level phrases like locus classicus, which, by the way, just translates to the classic or most authoritative passage on a subject. Through it all, that LOC root is the undeniable structural foundation. Think about an expert word like translocation. It looks absolutely terrifying on paper, right? But crack it open and it's just trans plus lock plus ation. Trans means across, so the literal translation is just the act of placing across. Biologists use it for moving genetic segments, logistics experts use it for moving freight. The real championship secret here? The bigger and harder the word, the more powerful knowing the root actually becomes. Let's shift gears to Section 4, real-world root power, because this goes way beyond spelling bees and right into highly specialized industries. This linguistic foundation isn't just some abstract concept. It literally builds the modern world. Think about it. GPS technology entirely depends on pinpointing your exact physical location. Geneticists map out a specific gene locus on a chromosome. Mathematicians use it to describe points in geometry, and even artists talk about finding the perfect locale, a word that came to us through French but is firmly anchored in Latin. These ancient building blocks are hiding in plain sight across all modern sciences.
When you actually look at the data on how useful these words are, the locust root easily earns a flawless 5 out of 5 stars for everyday vocabulary, academic research, and complex spelling. Honestly, mastering this one single root pays massive dividends across your entire education. It is deeply baked into everyday English, cutting-edge tech, and advanced medicine.
All right, time to bring it all home with Section 5, our Root Mastery Review. Consider this your formal graduation from this linguistic deep dive.
Let's lock in everything we've covered today. Our core root is locus, and it loves to hide inside larger words simply as LOC. Its unshakable meaning? Place. And the unbreakable rule you can always rely on is that every single word in this family, no matter how ridiculously long, will trace its meaning right back to a physical or abstract place.
So, what's the ultimate takeaway here? When you're reading a dense scientific paper or a technical manual, and you run face first into a massive, intimidating word, how exactly do you decode it?
You work from the inside out. You always hunt for the root first to establish the core meaning. Then you build outwards. Check the prefix on the left to see how it shifts the meaning, and then check the suffix on the right to understand its grammatical job. It's an incredibly elegant, completely foolproof system that just shatters the mystery of complex vocabulary.
We'll end this explainer with one simple heuristic to keep in your back pocket. When you see LOC, think place. Find the root, unlock the meaning, and elevate your vocabulary instantly. But locus is really just one of thousands of ancient roots currently holding up the architecture of our language, which kind of makes you wonder, what other hidden Latin cheat codes are secretly directing the words you use every single day?